Okay, can you see or hear me right now? Let me know. Hopefully we've got audio and video. Excellent. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Sorry, equipment difficulties here. That and the Twitch app is misbehaving. I wasn't able to properly, update the title or anything. But here we are, and hopefully all is well. Welcome back to the Oakland Zoo. I say welcome back because I tried to start a broadcast just a few minutes ago. Everything should be working now, hopefully. We're in, high delay mode, so hopefully the service is a little bit more resilient, but I'm not going to be able to respond as quickly to your chat messages, so just be aware of that. Anyway, check that over there. We've got, looks like an African elephant and a big one. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, everybody. Seems pretty good right now? Excellent. Well. And it's not a real stream unless there's tech issues. There you go, Rhacodactylus. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Welcome to beautiful, sunny Oakland, California. And, check out this African elephant here. Loxodonta africana. The world's largest living land mammal. And, oh boy, he's definitely a male elephant. We're going to give him some privacy for a second here. He puts that thing away. But, let's take a look at some of the zebras down here, shall we? Fish around a water barrel with his snout there. Zebras are such cool animals. Members of the horse family, Equidae, which means that they are perissodactyls. So related to rhinoceros and tapirs and horses, of course. Yeah, it's cool to see them, all playful like this. The zebras are notoriously ornery animals, so it's one of the reasons they've never really been domesticated. Many people have tried to domesticate zebras and ride them in the same way that people ride horses, and it's never really worked out for a number of different reasons. Yeah. Cool critters. And Pepper. Oh, you're moving to Alameda. Well, very, very cool. Yeah, Alameda's a lovely place. It's not too far from where I live. I used to live just across the canal from Alameda, right by the Fruitvale Bridge. Yeah, nowadays I live elsewhere. But, yeah, it's a good place to be, for sure. It's lovely being able to have the beach right there and being able to just walk there whenever you like, Again, here's our African elephant. There's not very many elephants at the zoo nowadays. The zoo, I think, is kind of slowly discontinuing their whole elephant program. So some of their elephants have been going to a sanctuary in North Carolina, if I remember correctly. I think this might be the last elephant that they have here. But yeah. Pretty cool. Let's see if we can see some animals a little bit closer up. And ooh, who is that? That looks like kind of ibis up there. And we've got, who are you? A beautiful ibis-like bird here. Look at the bright coloration on its face. Do you hear the bill clap together? Very cool. There should also be some clip-springers in here. Little tiny ungulates. I think they're a species of antelope. They hang out in here with the birds. They might be hiding right now. We get lucky enough to catch a glimpse of them. Very cool. I think that's some kind of stork. And that, again, looks like an ibis up there in the rafters. Let's take a look at some of the signage and figure this out, huh? Oh, and they've got rock hyrax too. Oh, super cool. We'll see if we can catch some of these. But do you remember Don DeBlue, Utah's assistant state paleontologist? We were working with him this past summer. This is one of his very, very favorite animals. Probably his favorite animal overall, a hyrax. These guys are kind of afrothere. So even though it looks almost like a groundhog or something like that, like a woodchuck, like a gopher, completely unrelated to those mammals. These guys are afrotheres, so they're much, much more closely related to elephants. Afrotheria is a really, really weird and cool group of mostly African mammals that includes lots of very, very morphologically distinct, very, very disparate morphologically mammals. You've got hyraxes, you've got aardvarks, you've got manatees, you've got elephants, and then things like sengis and golden moles, elephant shrews and golden moles. So this guy right here, a rock hyrax, is much more closely related to the elephant in that enclosure than it is to pretty much anything else here at the zoo, which is really cool to think about. Afrotheria is such a weird and interesting group. We did a few different streams about them. One on Elephant Appreciation Day, and another one on World Manatee Day. We were talking about afrotheres on both of those days because both of those critters are members of Afrotheria. They're members of that clade, that evolutionary group. Pretty cool. And yeah, and hello, there's a klipspringer right down there. That's our ungulate, our little hoofed mammal. Small kind of antelope. Just hanging out down there. There's two of them. Hello, hello. You having a good day? Yeah. Very nice. Where are your hyrax friends? I want to go see them too. Oh, lovely. All right, we'll see if we can spot the hyraxes too. This is a funny thing. Anytime that Don is explaining hyraxes to like a new volunteer or somebody who's new to the quarry, I'm like, well, what do hyraxes do? He's like, well, they sit around and they thermoregulate, which means that they'll either go to a hot place to get warmer or go to a cool place to get cooler. And that's basically what they do all day. So temperature sensitive. Although rock hyraxes are warm-blooded mammals, they employ many of the same behavioral adaptations as reptiles to avoid extreme temperatures, spending 95% of their time resting. I know some people like that. Global climate change could make it challenging for these animals who are sensitive to extreme temperatures. An important reminder to watch our carbon footprint. Yeah. And to actually, do collective action about climate change, reducing carbon emissions. Anyway, let's see if we can spot some of those hyraxes. Usually they like to hang out in and among the rocks. I'm guessing they're probably in the shade right now because it is kind of warm out. Given that they are so keen on thermoregulating, they're probably trying to stay cool at the moment. You're describing me right now. Schmidt's red-tailed monkey over here, according to the sign. And there he is right there.
Must be up high. Must be up high.
Must be up high. Monkey likes to climb.
Cercopithecus ascanius. There we go. Primarily frugivorous. From Central Africa. These old world monkeys are part of the Guignon genus. They're named for the red fur in their tails, but they're also known as black-cheeked and white-nosed monkeys, red-tailed guignons, or Schmidt's guignon. I don't know how to pronounce that term. I've never really heard it before. The large cheek pouches store almost as much food as their stomachs. This allows them to consume their food later in a safe location. I hope you can see him right there, kind of in the shade. Breaking some of those sticks with his teeth. Yeah. Very cool. Very beautiful critter. Very cool.
This way.
All right. And we'll see if maybe we can spot some of the spotted hyenas over there, too.
If you shoot through the shadier part of the fence.
Here, let's go take a look. Every time I've been here, the hyenas have been kind of elusive, but here they are. Just relaxing in the shade or in partial sun over there. Yeah. So hyenas are such cool animals. They might look superficially kind of dog-like, but within order Carnivora, within the mammals, they're actually part of Feliformia. So there's like a big division among carnivorous mammals. You've got your dog-like carnivorans and your cat-like carnivorans. The hyenas are on the cat-like carnivoran side of that family tree. So they're much more closely related to cats than they are to dogs. You see one of them? And Pepper Pepper says, I didn't know the hyenas were feliforms until last year. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, looks can definitely be deceiving when it comes to all kinds of different organisms. But there's a few things that give it away. There's, obviously their DNA. I'm pretty sure the genome of hyenas has been sequenced at this point. But also skeletally, they look much more feliform. If I remember correctly, it has something to do with the shape of their ankles, and then the morphology of their skulls and their teeth, too. It's much more cat-like than it is dog-like. And yet they've adopted kind of a more dog-like mode of life. They'll run, they'll chase down prey. They've got a much more caniform kind of like lifestyle, which is why they've convergently evolved to look kind of like dogs. Getting up and walking around. The gait of hyenas is so cool because their back legs tend to be a little bit shorter than their forelimbs. At least that's the way that they look. It looks like they've got longer arms than legs. So it gives them kind of a bizarre gait. It's just so cool to watch them walk around and do their thing. Yeah. Hi there, how's it going? Oh, you are? Okay. Cool.
I was sneaking in on your left.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? I work primarily on dinosaurs. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, but I know a thing or two about some mammals like hyenas and other critters too, so yeah.
I pick things up as I go.
Yeah, nice.
Generalist, so we have to know what everything. So that you're constantly like, more tidbits.
Yeah, for sure. Is it okay if I get you on camera?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm doing a live stream right now, so
Awesome.
We've got only 129 people watching right now, but I've been having a lot of signal issues. Normally it's closer to like 500.
Yeah, the signal's pretty rough here. This is Harley and Ozzy.
Okay.
Harley is a female, Ozzy's are male. Harley's a little bit more dominant, especially when it comes to food.
Mm-hmm.
They are very sleepy though, as you can see. They were taking naps.
Oh, here we go. Is this Harley or Ozzy over here?
That's Ozzy.
Okay. Yeah.
Getting a nice flop.
Very cool. Do you have a favorite critter here at the zoo?
That is an excellent question. I am very partial to our giraffes, but I spend most of my time up with our brown bears.
Oh,
so
cool. Okay.
I love my boys for sure. They're good boys. We got 2 grizzly bears and 2 coastal brown bears.
Right. Very cool. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see those today because the gondola is not operational today.
Nice and fixed up, so it's nice and safe for everybody, so everyone can come see our bears.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, hopefully next time. Yeah.
routine maintenance.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, I was supposed to come here yesterday, and then I realized that you guys were closed just as I was getting in the
Yeah.
car. So, anyway, I live close by, so it's glad I was able to make it today.
There's those
But,
baboons.
Oh, very cool.
The baboons
Are those,
live just on the other side of that fence. We've got our 3 baboon ohms
Uh-huh.
in our troop. We've got a little baby right now. Jasiri's only 6 months old, I think.
Uh-huh.
He is a ball of energy, so
Very cool. We'll
I
have to go
would
see
say
him,
that's probably his fault.
Yeah.
He,
Whatever ruckus is happening
he
down there
came
is
out
his
running,
doing.
Like,
Yeah.
he was born just zooming across the yard, I swear. Like, June, our baby gibbon, is about 2, and like at a year and a half, she was still hardly ever away from mom.
Uh-huh.
Jasiri, 4 weeks old, halfway across the yard, just.
It's funny how much personalities can differ in critters like that, just like in us, but they're so closely related to us that it shouldn't be surprising at all, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Well, very cool. Yeah. Those are Hemandrias baboons?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Very, very intense social structure.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a Bravo TV show down there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll have to go take a look. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for talking with us. I appreciate it.
course.
Yeah.
My name is Momo. I'm an educator
Momo?
here at the Oakland Zoo. Anytime you guys see anybody in a maroon shirt, we're
Yeah.
just here to answer questions, talk about our animal friends,
Excellent.
and let everybody know how great they all are.
Fantastic. Appreciate your time, Momo. I'm Danny, by the way. It's good to meet you.
Very good to meet you.
Yeah. Cool. I'll see you around.
Bye.
Yeah.
That was from February.
Very cool. Hopefully, signal is still holding up right now. Looks like our red-tailed monkey has moved. More red-tailed monkey things, I'm sure. Let's go continue on and see what else we can see. Cross your fingers that the signal holds. Oh, there he is. Hey there, pal. Whoa, how you doing? So many critters seem so fascinated with the camera. I think it's the fuzzy wind weasel that I've got on top. And hey there, this is a Schmidt's red-tailed monkey. Did I have that right? They're beautiful. So primates tend to be some of the most brightly colored of all of our modern mammals. Look at that tail. So that long tail like that is going to be used for balance. I'm not sure if it's prehensile. I'm not sure if in old world monkeys like this, if they've got prehensile tails. It might just be for balance though. Very cool. These little trilling noises that they make.
You don't know where you're going.
They're so cool. Very cool.
What are you doing?
All right. Let's see. Is our signal coming back? It doesn't look like it is. And thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. For assisting through signal perils. It's never been this bad before when I've done streams from the Oakland Zoo. I'm not sure what's going on. But hopefully, we've got enough signal that you can see these warthogs here, out and about doing their thing. As you could probably guess, these are members of the pig family, Suidae, if I remember correctly. Got this one kind of loping around on his knees there. Take a look at those tusks. Bristly hair like that. Pigs in general are just fascinating animals. They're super versatile in terms of what they can eat. Very much omnivores. They'll eat plants, they'll eat meat, they'll eat roots, they'll eat whatever. And they are fossorial too. So these are burrowing animals. They're very good at digging. They'll use their hooves and they'll use their snouts for digging extensive networks of burrows. And that's one of their means of defense. So if they're being pursued by a lion or something like that, they can just go and hide in their burrow. Again, look at those tusks. So I wonder why they would evolve that kind of curve like that to their tusks. Maybe it's just kind of to make it so that you can still have tusks, but they're not going to restrict your movement too much when you're moving through a burrow. If you look at it, while they seem pretty wide, it's still not really any wider than the width of their body. Still fit into one of those tube-like burrows like that. Very cool. And they're smart too, they are. Pigs in general, the suids they're pretty brainy. They're clever creatures. People say a lot that pigs are just as smart as dogs are, and that's often true. Don't they have to nick aardvark burrows? I wouldn't be shocked if they do, Crimson Carnotaurus, yeah. I think they're also pretty good at digging their own burrows as well. They use their snout to kind of shovel dirt out of the way. They can use their hooves for digging as well. Burrowing behavior in general is a lot more common than I think a lot of people realize. There's lots and lots of different critters that dig burrows. Everything from puffins to polar bears. From warthogs to squirrels to turtles. We even have evidence of a number of different dinosaur groups digging burrows. The most famous of these are the thessalosaurs and the orodromines, like ornithopod dinosaurs from the Cretaceous, but we've got evidence that a number of other different dinosaurs dug burrows as well, some of which I can't tell you about because it's not yet published. Yeah. Yeah. Voles too. You know, it might be like probably like a third to half of mammal species are known to dig burrows. So many. And that's one of those things that is kind of a hand-me-down from the Mesozoic, from when mammals were tiny little shrew-like critters living in the shadow of the dinosaurs. Most mammals back then would have dug burrows, and many still do today. Kind of a holdover from that time. It's cool to think about. That sounded hockey. That is a red-tailed hawk, sounds like, somewhere up above. I haven't been able to catch a glimpse of it yet. Very cool. Well, let's take a look at the sign, too. It says, what's in a name? As the name suggests, warthogs have 3 sets of warts on their face, largest near the eye, a set before the tusks, and snout, more pronounced in males, and a set on the lower jaw, typically covered with white bristly hairs. They aren't actual warts and are better referred to as tubercles, which is just protrusions of skin and tissue, not bone or cartilage. That's really interesting. So I guess that's not reflected in their skull morphology. Huh. And that might be because it's, those might be like sensitive kind of touch spots. I'm not sure. Well, that's pretty cool. Very cool. Pretty neat. Well, let's continue on. Cross your fingers that the signal holds, and we will go see what else we can see. So let's say goodbye to the robots for now. All right. Now, we're going to get down into the children's zoo area pretty soon here, I think. So we'll get to see some otters, hopefully some alligators. And the baboons might be on the way down here too. Hamadryas baboons, like we were talking about with Momo there. Yeah. And yeah, I thought the same thing, Salamander. I thought that you'd be able to, pick out those protrusions on their skulls, but I guess not. Anyway. Here we've got our baboons, Hamadryas baboons. I see one stalking around up there at the top, under the rocks. Now I think these are the same species of baboon in that famous stock footage of like baboons in an office setting. They're like looking at papers, holding phones up to their ears, and one of them throws a laptop at one point. You know what I'm talking about? That famous stock footage? I used to see it in GIFs all the time on places like Twitter. That's this species, Hamadryas baboons. Now, I think they've all gone inside right now. There's some kind of rubber flaps there at the base of that rockwork. I think they've gone indoors for right now, because I don't see any of them outside at the moment. So maybe we'll come back and see if we can spot them while they're a little bit more willing to show off. Yeah. Anywho. Ricodactylus says, thank you for pronouncing GIF correctly. Oh boy. I don't really have much of a horse in that fight, but I just say it how I say it, Anywho, let's go see what else we can see. Cross your fingers that the signal holds. Sign right here. Children's Zoo, lower entrance exit, tropical rainforest, zoo meadow, and main entrance exit. Unfortunately, about half the zoo is closed right now because the California section, which is up the hill, you've got to take a lovely aerial gondola to get to it. That's closed right now because the aerial gondola is not working at the moment. But, yeah, maybe we'll be able to come back another day. We'll see. And go check that out. Yeah. Now let's go see some gators. It's warm enough today that maybe they'll be actually moving around a little bit. And hopefully the otters haven't tuckered themselves out too much. You come here first thing in the morning, and the otters are just bouncing off the walls. It's one of the things I love about river otters, is when you go to see them at the zoo, they're almost always more excited to see you than you are to see them. Otters are just, I don't know, always full of energy. They're always good sports. I appreciate that. Oh, and this is super cool. Wow. I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, you were standing on the Hayward Fault. The Hayward Fault is this major, I think it's a reverse thrust fault? I forget the exact fault type, but this is where two different continental plates moving past one another. So, on this side, the east side, everything is moving south. On this side, everything is moving north, if I remember correctly. I've got a 50-50 shot at getting it right. But, yeah, we are right here at the Oakland Zoo. And then I think this is it right here. I think it's meant to designate the Hayward Fault. Pretty cool. And let's see, did we just get a raid? No, I guess not. Alright, Thalian, good to see you. Hello, everybody. Pretty neat. The Bay Area is a very geologically active area. You've got a number of different plates, different faults. Hayward Fault is right here. The San Andreas Fault basically runs, that's basically caused by the San Andreas Fault. It runs down here and then west of San Francisco there. And over here you've got the Hayward Fault. Pretty neat. Yeah. And the last major earthquake on the Hayward Fault was in 1868, so we're very much due for a major earthquake here. It's been well over 100 years. What's interesting is that 1868 earthquake was called the Great San Francisco Earthquake up until 1906, when San Francisco had a major earthquake that leveled large parts of the city, and then the subsequent fire destroyed much of what was left. Anyhow, interesting to think about. I love that they put a display about that here. That's pretty neat. Appreciate that. All right, let's continue on. Let's see some more critters. Okay. So let's try and spot some alligators over here, and maybe the flying foxes will be out too. We'll get to see some fruit bats. Oh, we've got a lovely Colonian friend over here. Hey, turtle friend. Beautiful. How are you doing? Not sure what kind of turtle this guy is, but every time I've seen the alligators, they've been on the other side. I say that, and there's one over here. You kind of barely see him right there. Yeah, just lounging around in the water, as crocodilians are wont to do. We'll see if we can get a closer look on the other side. And we'll probably spot some otters over there too. Well, there's an alligator right there. A real success story. Alligators have been able to exploit a lot of different habitats that are man-made, especially in places like Florida. There's something like one alligator for every 30 people in the state of Florida. They've done really, really well in human-dominated environments. Unlike the American crocodile, which also lives in Florida, and I think is still endangered. in that state. It's interesting how critters that you think of as being very similar can have very, very different responses to like human habitation. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
Oh, I see him.
Oh, and I forgot about this over here. Oh, so cool. Is this Ariops? Yeah. This is a replica of the fossil from Texas, if memory serves. Ariops is from the early Permian of Texas. It's a reptilomorph. So it's not an amphibian. It's not super closely related to today's modern reptiles. It's got this lovely flat head right here, almost alligator-like. Almost like an alligator crossed with a salamander or something. I don't know a great deal about these guys because they lived long before the dinosaurs in the early Permian. But really cool to see this on display here. Yeah, imagine a salamander bigger than you, Ariops, meeting amphibian from the southwestern U.S. about 250 million years ago. I want to say it's a reptilomorph rather than a true amphibian, but I don't know. Somebody fact check me on that, huh? Yeah. But it's so cool to see this here at the zoo. They didn't have to do stuff like this, and yet here it is. I love that the bones are a little bit scattered, almost like we just stumbled upon this in the field. But, yeah. Ariops is a cool critter. So this would have been hunted by animals like Dimetrodon. Everybody loves Dimetrodon, everybody's favorite non-dinosaur dinosaur. Dimetrodon lived at the same time as Ariops in the early Permian of Texas, and I think maybe Russia as well? Anyhow. These guys lived about 50 million years, I think, before the first dinosaurs, and they're fascinating creatures. They really are. Oh, and it's a temnospondyl, so it is a true amphibian. I stand corrected. Maybe I'm thinking of Seymoria as a reptilomorph. Anyway, pretty cool. Yeah, so it basically is like a gigantic salamander. And you can kind of see the teeth under there. So all of these sharp, almost needle-like teeth. Probably kind of a generalist predator, eating whatever it can get its teeth into. Whatever it can fit down its gullet. Cool critter, Ariops. Anywho, good stuff. Pretty neat. And 250 million years ago, that's incorrect. Ariops is from the early Permian. I think about 280, maybe 290? Actually, that might be wrong too. Anyway, it's earlier than 250. 250 is the end of the Permian. These guys are from the early Permian. Yeah. 299 and 278. Oh, okay. I guess I had that right. Thanks, Claire. Alright, let's see if we can spot some otters. See if they've already exhausted themselves, or are they out and about still? The best time to see otters is always in the early morning, in my experience. So we might not get to see them today. But yeah, you come here right at opening, otters are just zooming back and forth through here, looking at you through the window. Yeah. Well, river otters are making a comeback here in California, which is really good to see. I remember when I was in high school, I was walking to Barnes & Noble from my house back in like Martinez, California, and crossed a canal there, and I saw some splashing down in the water. I looked down in there, there's 2 river otters just hanging out there in the middle of the suburbs, doing their thing. So, not a particularly exotic animal by California standards, but always really cool to see. Yeah. And Ornithalium says otters are low-key scary. I mean, they've got moxie for sure. Maybe I shouldn't tell you that during the, I think the Pliocene? we've got fossil evidence of otters that were like practically lion-sized. They had skulls about the same size as that of a black bear. They were big critters. So, really cool to think about.
So out of curiosity, what's the equipment for?
Oh, I'm doing a live stream right now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we've got 229 people watching right now. I've had signal trouble, so that's...
Yeah, no signal's not great out here.
Yeah. So normally it would be higher, but... Yeah, anyways, just walking around the zoo, looking at different critters and talking about their biology.
All right, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. And Anhydriodon, exactly, Golganek, yeah. Anhydra is the genus name for, I think, the sea otter today. And so, it's cool that, like, they kind of took that part of its name. That actually might just mean otter in Latin or Greek, I'm not sure. Hey, unfortunately, I can't really see the gators here right now. But you can see some of the trails that they've left as they've been sliding around. There's trails there in the dirt. So unlike dinosaurs, alligators do drag their tails as they move around. It was assumed for a long time that dinosaurs did too. And you see old illustrations of dinosaurs up until like the 1960s or even later, with them dragging their tails on the ground. But that never fit with the fossil evidence. We've got lots of footprints, trackways from dinosaurs. Anyhow. Let's continue on. And I think up here somewhere we should be able to spot the flying foxes. I think it might be further in that direction, but we'll go look.
Playing their guitars and singing and like kumbaya.
Do one last look, see if we can spot some otters. I think they will prove elusive today. Well, wherever they are, I hope they're having a good time. Oh, I almost forgot. We've got a Sarcosuchus skeleton to look at over there too. Let's go give that a gander. Remember when we were in Rob Gaston's workshop? We saw the big fleshed out Suchomimus head with those teeth and super long jaws. We're going to see a fossil cast of that same critter over here. I think you'll find it impressive. Hopefully the signal holds for that. Okay, and there it is. Right there. Alright. So this is Sarcosuchus imperator. So this is a giant crocodilomorph from the late Cretaceous of Niger in North Africa. Take a look at those jaws. This is life-size. Very cool. Pretty neat. Take a look at those teeth. So this animal lived at the same time in the same place as dinosaurs like Suchomimus, and I think Uranosaurus is from the same formation. The El Raz formation, late Cretaceous of Niger. Pretty cool. Salamander says, "Can you tell us what makes a dinosaur a dinosaur?" Is that in reference to what that kid was saying? So this is, a member of the crocodile family. So it's not a dinosaur. Think of it like a cousin to the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are a very specific group of animals. They all evolved from a single common ancestor. Crocodiles and their kin did not evolve from that same exact ancestor, so they're not dinosaurs, even though they lived at the same time. I think a lot of people, when they think of, big animals that lived during the Mesozoic, they kind of assume that, oh yeah, those are all dinosaurs. Like dinosaurs, just some sort of grab bag term that you apply to any big critter that lived back then. That's not true. Dinosaurs are a very specific group of reptiles that all share a common ancestor. And if you didn't evolve from that common ancestor, then you are not a dinosaur. So these guys, think of them as like cousins to the dinosaurs, but they're not dinosaurs themselves. They're much more closely related to your modern crocodiles. Yeah, this is a member of clade Pseudotsuchia. Along with your modern crocodiles, too. Anyway. Yeah. But pretty cool. Really neat that they've got this on display here. Super croc. There was a National Geographic documentary in the late 90s. Came out heralding this discovery. I think it was around 1999. Worth a watch if you ever get a chance to see it. Kind of chronicles the team's discovery of Sarcosuchus, and it's pretty cool. I think Paul Sereno might have been leading that group. Did a lot of work there in North Africa in the 90s. Yeah. Pretty cool critter. Sarcosuchus. It's interesting that lived in this environment where you've also got these, huge spinosaurids doing their thing, eating fish. These guys are presumably mostly eating fish too. There's a lot of fish to eat, apparently, in that environment. That you could have so many large-bodied creatures all subsisting primarily on fish. Pretty neat. And Hanky asks, so is the dinosaur extinction very specifically to that group, or is it most critters from that era? So yeah, you're talking about the KPG extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous period. That was all of the dinosaurs except for a handful of bird species. Birds are, of course, part of the dinosaur group because they evolved from that first dinosaur ancestor along with the rest of the dinosaurs. But it was like something like 70% of all other life on Earth died out at the same time. It wasn't just dinosaurs that went extinct. It was a bunch of the marine reptiles. The ammonites in the sea also went extinct at the same time. You had the majority of mammal species that went extinct. The majority of bird species. It was just a bad time to be a critter here on planet Earth at the very end of the Cretaceous. Anyhow. Let's take a look at the fruit bat pavilion while we're here. Maybe we'll get lucky and get to see some flying foxes. All right. See anybody in there? I don't see them inside. Here we go. Just kind of barely see them, but there's some fruit bats, some flying foxes. So there's two main groups of bats, what we call microbats and what we call megabats. And these guys are members of the megabat group. So these are mostly diurnal bats, so they're mostly coming out during the day. They've got pretty good vision. And I don't think they echolocate like microbats do. You see one hanging there, another one right there. Hopefully you can see it on the camera. Anyway. Pretty neat. And this vet, most bats do not drink blood. I think it's only vampire bats that do, so it's only like a small handful of species. These guys are fruit eaters, so they're flying around in the daytime, and they're eating fruit. They've got very, almost fox-like faces, often why they're called, flying foxes. That's where they got that name. They've got these long snouts, these big goofy eyes. They often just look kind of sleepy and goofy in general. You'll find lovely videos of them online chowing down on bananas and stuff like that. Very, very cute. Yeah. And yeah, there you go, Ken. I'm aware. I was there for one of Dyson Dinosaur streams when he was watching an old Paleo World episode of Paul Sereno's work in Niger. And my undergrad advisor was there on the crew, Dave Verricchio. So yeah. Anywho, flying foxes, really, really cool critters. So this is the, I guess, 4th time that flight has evolved in animals here on our planet Earth. Can anybody name the 4 distinct times that true powered flight has evolved? Which 4 groups of unrelated animals all independently evolved the ability to fly? Okamikuma says pterosaurs. Yeah, that was the 2nd one. Arthropods, pterosaurs, birds, bats. There you go. Ding, 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 salamander. Absolutely. Yeah. And Rocky Altars, shoot, I wish you were here for yesterday's stream, because we talked all about that. All about why certain creatures went extinct at the end of the Cretaceous and why certain ones survived. A big part of it is due to body size, and due to kind of resource requirements. Kind of the small, insignificant creatures, like some of the mammals, managed to survive, while dinosaurs, which required more resources, they're more like dominant in their ecosystem. They're maybe one species is taking up several different niches throughout its lifetime. They were more susceptible to big environmental disruptor like an asteroid impact. And with the ancestors of flying foxes, like all mammals that we have today, managed to survive. And it's not too long after that extinction event that bats first evolved. We've got beautiful fossils of bats from the Eocene. So from I think less than 10 million years after that big extinction event, you already have bats evolving. The pterosaurs, flying reptiles, had gone extinct. And so there was an open niche there. And I guess one group of mammals evolved to exploit that. Hanging out here and going to the bathroom. Literally hanging out. It's so funny. This guy was hanging upside down. And he's like, oh, I had to pee. But if I pee now, I'll pee all over myself. So let me hang from my arms. And look at that wing membrane. Very cool. So what you're looking at right there is the hand. So you've got a skin membrane that's stretching between those different fingers. And then there's one hook-like claw right there. That's the thumb. I don't know how well you can see it in the now, but it's clear as day from where I'm standing. Yeah. Pretty cool. Very cool. And Dinosaur Dave says we have fossils of bats on a display 55 million years ago just north of Brisbane. Very cool. I didn't realize you had bat fossils in Australia. Pretty neat. The earliest bat fossils that I know of are from the Green River Formation of Wyoming here in the USA. But I think we also have some from the Messel Pit in Germany, and apparently there's some in Australia as well. That's news to me. Very cool. Anyhow, let me continue. Let's go see what else we can see. Well, I'm glad we were able to catch the flying foxes. And Ragnar Balin says, how did different species of plants and animals interact and coexist in the past? That's a huge question. You're basically asking, tell me everything about paleoecology. I don't know where to start. Yeah, I can tell you how we can determine these things. How do we figure out how different organisms interacted in Earth's past? And it's by studying the fossil record. Yeah, trying to determine which different niches different organisms would have occupied. So a niche is like an ecological job. So think about like a cheetah out on the African savanna. That is an active pursuit predator, and it's a hyper-carnivore. So it's not walking around grazing on grass. It's not living in a network of burrows and tunnels. It's out there in the open, chasing down prey and eating it, going after other mammals. So that's like one niche. You're like a fast pursuit hyper-carnivore. Given that we know that about cheetahs today, if we find animals in the fossil record that have similar morphologies, like a similar kind of body plan, then you can infer that, oh, this really looks like it should be a fast pursuit carnivore. And then you can test ideas like that using things like morphometrics. So you can actually like take measurements of the different bones, and you can see if those relationships and those measurements match those of like a cheetah or something. If they've like convergently evolved a similar morphology. You can directly test diet using things like isotopes. So you can actually figure out what animals were eating by doing isotopic analysis on, say, their teeth. You can look for gut contents too, because sometimes the remains of an animal's last meal are there preserved in its guts. If it's a remarkably well-preserved fossil, you might have that. You might actually know for a fact what this animal had eaten. Stuff like that. And so you do enough of this, and you figure out all these different critters that would have been in a given ecosystem, and then you can try and start figuring out the relationships. And from that, you can start to infer, well, these animals would have interacted in such and such a way. Think about Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops, for instance. So with T-Rex and Triceratops, we can figure out that T-Rex was a big carnivorous animal, seemed to have been an active predator in some cases, and we know that it ate Triceratops because we actually find bite marks from Tyrannosaurus teeth on Triceratops bones. We've seen this again and again and again, to the point where we can start to figure out how a Tyrannosaurus would have dismantled a Triceratops carcass, like the stepwise fashion in which it would pull the head off in order to get to the neck meat and everything else. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that we can figure out just by looking at fossils, which is pretty neat. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. I was hoping to see some lemurs up here. Ringtail lemurs. Lemur cata. That's such a funny binomial. But it doesn't look like they're out and about right now. They might be sitting in a little box trying to keep cool. One thing that is really cool, check out this cycad here. I love that they've got cycads planted throughout the zoo. This is one of my favorite groups of plants. But these are the oldest gymnosperm plants in the world. These were one of the dominant plant groups during the Mesozoic, during the age of dinosaurs. Today there's about 405 species in about 10 or 11 different genera. So they're pretty rare today, but they used to be some of the most common plants around back then. This is not a fern, it's not a pine tree. Its closest living relative is actually a ginkgo. And right here you've got the big caudex, so like the trunk underneath, and then all of these leaves coming off of it right there. I'm not sure if this is a male or a female. Cycads are dioecious, which means that some of them have male reproductive parts and some of them have female reproductive parts. But it's always kind of binary like that, it seems. This one here looks like it's getting ready to either produce a new flush of fronds like this, or maybe produce a cone. And the male and female cones look different from one another. If it actually had a cone, I could probably tell you whether it's male or female, but this one doesn't have one at the moment. Yeah.
Whichever lemur piece
Anyway.
is the most dominant.
Yeah, anyway. Cycads are super cool.
Hopefully we gotta walk up here.
That one there, I think, is... I'm not sure what species it is, but it's, I think, genus Cycas. Here's more. This is Cycas revoluta right here. Another cycad. They're really popular in zoos because they look very exotic. They tend to be fairly drought resistant, and they're very slow growing, so they don't need a lot of maintenance, don't need a lot of trimming.
Get off of there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Very cool. Anyhow. I'm not seeing any lemurs. But we'll continue on. I'm really happy that our signal is held so far. And Raggerballen says, do we know that the blue whale is or was the biggest animal on the planet? Depends how you measure it. Blue whales are not the longest creature that's ever lived. Like the longest animal that's ever lived are some of the sauropod dinosaurs. Long-necked, four-legged dinosaurs. Some of them could be like over 130 feet long, you know? That's ridiculously long. Yeah, that's something like... Some of them may have been like 40 meters long or more. Yeah, and then if we're talking about mass, then it could be that some of the ichthyosaurs would have been more massive and maybe longer than blue whales too. But we've got very fragmentary evidence of some of the biggest ichthyosaurs. So no, the safe answer is that the blue whale is the most massive animal that's ever lived. But that could very well change with further discoveries of more and bigger ichthyosaurs. Ichthyosaurs are these reptiles that lived in the sea during the age of the dinosaurs. They're not dinosaurs themselves, and they're not closely related. Ichthyosaur means fish lizard, so it's picture like a gigantic reptilian dolphin, and you'd have a rough approximation for what an ichthyosaur would look like. Yeah. Anywho. But yeah, check out this tortoise right here. What kind of tortoise are you? You're beautiful. Wow. Like we were talking about at the San Francisco Zoo, turtles, like this tortoise here, are, they're not super distant relatives of dinosaurs in the sense that they're just outside of Archosaura. So, a turtle like this is actually more closely related to a bird than it is to, say, a lizard. And that might be, that might blow your mind, but yeah, these guys are pretty close to the origin of Archosaura. So, if we're talking about the different clades that kind of surround dinosaurs, including birds, you've got crocodilians, which are kind of next to dinosaurs today on the tree. And then turtles are just outside of that. So if crocodiles are the second cousins of dinosaurs, turtles would be third cousins, maybe? I don't know. I'm grossly oversimplifying here. Anywho. I'm not sure who this is. Aldabra tortoise, perhaps?
Okay, let's look and see what's over here first.
Yeah.
Look at their feet. Here.
Aldabra second largest turtle species in the world? That doesn't sound right.
He has to go around. We're going around.
Very cool.
You have to stay on the pavement.
Pretty neat.
Here.
Pretty neat. And that is correct, yes. I was saying, tortoises are a kind of turtle, but not all turtles are tortoises. It's true.
How old do you think they are? They are 20.
Anyway, let's continue. And
wasn't quite sure, so she said
oh, and here's some of our tortoises out in the open. Frolicking very slowly. Right there. Very cool. Super cool. Love to watch them graze. Just use those beaks to crop vegetation like that. Gives you some sense for how certain beaked dinosaurs, like say ceratopsians, your horned dinosaurs like Triceratops, how they would have fed. Very cool. Very cool. I love the genus and species name too. Geochelone giganteum. Basically translates to giant earth turtle. Earth turtle, gigantic. It's an apt description, I would say. Pretty cool. And that one guy, I'm not doing a nationwide zoo tour. No, I've only got mobile data for the next 2 weeks, basically. I got it so I can go down to TwitchCon and San Diego next week. With any luck, I might be able to do a stream from the San Diego Zoo as well, and then that'll be it. At least that's the plan so far. Yeah. But given that I've got... The mobile data is very expensive. It's like $500 a month, basically. So I've got it for 1 month, and I'm just using it as much as I can from different spots here close to home here in the Bay Area. And the Oakland Zoo is pretty close to where I live. So this is a pretty convenient stop for today. And I hope you're enjoying it. Anyway. Yeah. And is this? I think it's just supposed to be a generic large constrictor snake with eggs. Yeah, that's fun. All right. So we can get a closer look at some of these tortoises. Very cool. And so I guess we've got strong sexual dimorphism here between the males and females. The sign says, compared to the male Aldabra tortoises, who spend their time on the opposite side of this habitat, the females look like babies, even though they're actually adults. The smallest of the females, however, is an entirely different species. Okay, that's got to be African spurred tortoise. That might be the one that we saw inside. Check her out. Very cool. Gotta love tortoises. Life in the slow lane. Just eating all day, relaxing. You know, never really have to move very fast. Really slow metabolisms. I think a lot of people would enjoy that kind of lifestyle. Maybe not me, but some people would. That's gotta be one of the males over there. Another one over here. Yeah. Very cool. Check him out. He is gigantic. My goodness. Turtles really haven't figured it out, it seems. Yeah, some people would definitely say so. Another one over there. Doing some eating. Let's go get closer to him. All right. Hello there. Look at that long neck. That's so cool. So the shell of a tortoise, or just about any turtle really, is an extension of its rib cage. So during the evolution of turtles, they actually managed to get their rib cage outside of the rest of their skeleton. And then those big kind of like shield-like plates that you see on there, those are called osteoderms. So those are bones in the skin that kind of form part of their skeleton too. And those kind of fuse onto the ribs that are underneath that form like the base of their shell. Super cool. I remember when I was teaching a summer science course for like kids probably about 8 or 9 years old, and I put together this worksheet on homology. Homology is looking at the different structures of organisms and how they like kind of evolved from a common ancestor. So the same bones that we have in our arm, our humerus and radius and ulna, those are the same bones that you have in a tortoise, in a dog or a cat, and an orangutan, in a whale, anybody. Because we evolved from a common ancestor. Like we all have these common features, these bones that we all share, that are just modified for different purposes, for different lifestyles, for different ecologies. So this worksheet had a bunch of different skeletons of different animals, and then like a color key. So it'd be like, color the skull in orange, color the femur in purple, color the ribs in green. And then this whole class full of kids was doing this really enthusiastically, doing really well at it. And then they got to the turtle. They're like, where are the ribs on the turtle? We found the ribs on all the other animals, but where are they on the turtle? And then one girl in the class, you could just see her eyes light up right there. And she goes, oh, the shell is the ribs. And she was exactly right. And she was just really excitedly telling everybody else, the shell is the ribs, everybody, the shell is the ribs. That was a magical moment. It's cool when you start to understand animals and their anatomy from an evolutionary perspective. Things just start to make sense. Where before it's like, oh, whatever, I don't know why this is like this. But once you start to realize that these creatures evolved from common ancestors, things click, things start to actually make sense. And you gain not just a more complete understanding of how these critters work, but you gain a better appreciation for them as living things too. So I'll never forget that. It was a magical moment. Anywho, and XRP Bits, how are you doing? Hello. Yeah. Our common ancestor with turtles, you got to go back really far in order to get to there. The mammals and reptiles split at the base of Amniota about, I want to say it's about 350 million years ago, something like that. With like Archaeothyris, and that's one of the first synapsids. Anyway, basically, as soon as vertebrate animals come up onto land and they start laying hard-shelled eggs, then you get that split between what would become the reptiles and what would become the mammals. So it's a long time ago, about 350 million years ago, give or take. During like the earliest Carboniferous? I'd have to look into this. It's long before the first dinosaurs, obviously. Yeah. And how would you rate their lifestyle? Oh, tortoises? It works really well for them. We've had terrestrial turtles like this doing their thing since the Cretaceous period. I want to say that there were tortoise-like turtles like this since maybe about 90 million years ago. Well, anyway, I say that to make the point that they're very successful creatures. Like they found a lifestyle that really works for them, and they're very good at it. Very unhurried kind of life. It works for them. Yeah. They're just vibing. There you go. Yeah. XRP Bit says, didn't know crazy stuff. Yeah. That's the perspective that you gain when you start looking at things from a paleontological perspective, an Earth history perspective, an evolutionary perspective. Yeah. I sorely wish this sort of thing were taught in schools in the U.S., but there's a lot of people in the U.S. who've got, I don't know, they're very afraid of evolution or have big problems with that, and it's annoying, It's very unfortunate. It's, Galileo being locked away for saying that the Earth is not the center of the universe kind of stuff, you know? It still happens today. But yeah. Let's take a look at some primates over here, shall we? And some cool birds, too. Who have we got in this enclosure? Oh, yowza, Johnny Shoes, that's a harrowing story. I'm sorry you had to go through that. You know, you would think that would be a thing that's common sense, like don't try and stick your finger in a snake's cloaca, but not everybody has common sense, apparently. Less common than you'd imagine. We've got some lovely birds in here who are hiding at the moment, so we'll give them some privacy. And, we'll continue on. And yeah, there you go, Dinosaur Dave. Yeah, that sort of thing does seem to be on the upswing right now. Which is why, you know, biology education is so important. All right. We've got a macaw right there. Here, we'll go take a look. Some of these folks move. But I love how big the enclosures are here. There's so many places to hide if the critters aren't feeling like being front and center. But some of them really don't mind. I like this guy over here. Yeah. Very cool.
It's a long life for a little bird.
Very, very cool. Hey there. What's that? You got a question or something? Oh, it's the microphone cover, yeah. It's funny because I'll go up to some of the animal enclosures and they'll look at this and they're like, "What's that? Is it food?"
Nice.
So, yeah. I think this is a military macaw. See him using that powerful beak to tear that apart. Presumably there's some food or something in there. This is a way to help keep them occupied. These are super intelligent animals and they need mental stimulation in order to stay healthy. It's nice that he's got an activity there.
He's playing. He's trying to pick out the paper. He thinks there's food inside.
Very cool.
That's pretty weird. Let's take a video. Emma, sit here. Is it shady? Yeah. He's picking it out. He's trying to find food.
And here we've got the chimps over here, which are our closest living relatives at the zoo. I think I might see some over there. So we'll take a look. This is Pan troglodytes, a genus and species, the chimpanzee. And we'll see if we can go get a look. Yeah. And Destruct Motron, hey, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Shoot, I don't know if I've introduced myself since we got this started, did we? Let me do that real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch doing some good old-fashioned science outreach. We've got mobile data for the next 2 weeks or so, and so I'm using that to my best advantage, going around to different sites here in the Bay Area and streaming cool things. Today we're at the Oakland Zoo. We're talking about the different animals. So as a dinosaur paleontologist, I'm on the kind of vertebrate paleontology side of things. Paleontology is the study of fossils in general. Everything from fossil bacteria to fossil trees, from fossil whales to fossil frogs, you know, fossil fungi and protists and algae and diatoms and all kinds of stuff. But I work on animal fossils, dinosaurs in particular. And in order to understand dinosaurs, in order to conduct research on them, you have to have a pretty good understanding of a lot of modern animals as well, because sometimes modern animals are the critters that we're using as kind of analogs for understanding dinosaur anatomy and behavior and ecology and everything else. The study of dinosaurs is in large part the study of modern animals too. And so I've learned a thing or two over the years, and I always love looking at animals. So that's why we're here at the zoo, and we're talking about whatever kind of whatever comes to mind. So, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. And that's not called... No, there is a field called paleobotany, rocky altars. It's a subset of paleontology, you know? Like botany is a subset of biology. Paleobotany is a kind of a subset of... Paleobotany is a subset of paleontology. Studying fossil plants. Anyway, let's see if... Oh, we do have a chimp up there. Might not be able to see him. Let's see if that improves things at all. Put that here. Okay, we've got decent signal. We're back, okay. Yeah. And is part of my equipment beeping? No, there's a guy over there who's got an electric wheelchair that's making all kinds of really loud noises. I hope that's not what's interfering with our signal, actually. There's a non-zero chance. He's got a huge camera over there, too. Anyway, when we were having signal trouble last time, he was right next to us also, but I don't think it's that. It can't be. Holy Lifton, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. That is brilliant. If you're enjoying the stream, thanks for sticking with me, everybody, through the signal trouble. Excellent. Appreciate that. Thank you for helping keep me here on the air. So, on the other side of this, we've got some siamangs. Just another group of primates. I think they are old world primates. I want to say they're from like Southeast Asia. But like the gibbons over there, they also are adapted for swinging through the trees. I think they also have those kind of curved finger bones. Maybe we'll get to see them if we go around the other side. Yeah. If we were here a little bit earlier in the day, we might be able to spot a few more of the animals. They tend to be a little bit more active in the morning than in the afternoons. But, you know, every day is going to be different. Yeah. Oh, and Siamang are kind of gibbon. I didn't realize that. Okay. Cool. And
So it's like once a month. So it's not, I volunteer once a month, so it's not as intensive. Pretty low. Like, yeah.
we've got a native mammal right here. This particular kind of rodent is part of Sciuridae, the squirrel family, and is pretty unafraid of me. A lot of the squirrels around here are pretty conditioned to human presence. Here, we'll go around the other side and see if we can see those Siamangs and the gibbons too. Yeah. Brachiation Nation. There you go. We'll go see if we can find those brachiators. Yeah. I don't know. I've always been kind of fascinated. Siamangs just hanging out in the grass. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Your signal cut out again? Oh, should be good. It's at 2,000 megabits per second. I'm not sure why. The signal is... It's going from 2,000 down to 30 and back. But there's our Siamangs right there. Yeah. These long, super long fingers like that. It's funny to see them not in a tree. They must feel really, really safe here to be able to just hang out on the ground. That probably runs counter to a lot of the instincts that might prevail in the wild.
Bears are this way, hangouts is this way.
Yeah.
What's this way?
Bears. Yeah, and then it goes to the exit. Oh,
We can go this way.
So you want to go that way?
Well, yeah, here it says.
It probably goes around.
Sir, do you work here?
I don't know. Sorry, but you trying to get out or?
Yeah. Can I go this way?
I think you can. Yeah.
Around instead of this
Pretty
way?
sure.
Around, instead of that.
I think everything loops around.
I
Yeah.
thought you worked here, sorry.
No, you're good. I could see why you'd make that mistake.
Get up.
Otherwise you're here.
Yeah.
You gotta go up. Yes. That's,
Uh.
I don't know. Where's Natalie?
Anywho.
Yeah, you can go this way.
And why should we be getting pixelation right now? That doesn't make any sense. We're like... Yeah. Oh. There's video, kind of a famous video online of a gibbon in a preserve or in a zoo somewhere, and there's a hedgehog that wanders into his enclosure. And it must have been somewhere in the UK, I imagine. And this gibbon just freaks out seeing this hedgehog, and he like runs over to it, and he's like throwing his arms up in surprise. And then he runs all around the enclosure and swings around all over the place, and then he comes back and stares at it again, and just keeps doing this repeatedly. You know, in the same way that like a kid might do that after seeing something that fascinates and freaks them out. Yeah. Super cool critters. Got a lot of charisma. Anyway, let's see if we can spot our gibbons again over here. I seem to recall we've got some really cool birds in this corner too. Alright, where are our gibbons?
White-whiskered gibbons? Let's look at the sign. White-handed gibbons. Also known as lar gibbons. Okay. Oh, there we go. Right there.
Hello. Hey, gibbons.
See? Oh, there's another one over there. That might be a male, and there might be a female and a baby. I think I remember seeing something about this on Twitter recently. A recent birth at the zoo. Must be a new baby gibbon. I think I remember this.
Just beautiful.
Oh, and there's a little juvenile up there swinging through the trees. Very cool.
Let's see if we can get a little bit closer.
Quite acrobatic. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, that is so cool.
So I think this probably is Dad, Mom, and kiddos there.
He's scratching his leg. Sibley says baby gibbons are made out of rubber bands and energy. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, while it's fun, that sort of play is also really, really important to their development. So they're learning all about spatial awareness. They're learning how to control their limbs in concert to swing through the trees like that. They're learning how to balance. They're learning about momentum.
There's a reason why play evolved like that. It's to help creatures like this develop the skills that they need for survival. Super cool. So cool.
I'm going in the tunnel.
Let's get back, y'all.
Very cool.
Oh, I'm going in the tunnel.
Oh, damn.
you can go by. You're good.
Oh, no.
Good.
Are you filming them or what?
Yeah,
It's not
I'm doing a live stream right now. Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Now, somebody in the chat was asking what's keeping them in the enclosure.
So you'll see there's a rope that's strung around the perimeter right there. That's if they happen to fall in. They're not very good swimmers. That's so they can climb out. But yeah, that's why you
usually see a moat like this. In like a gibbon enclosure or something like that is because the water keeps them in. On Twitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. 283 people watching right now. Yeah. Super cool. Look at how long those fingers are. Very cool.
All the people looking at us.
Pretty cool.
Well, let's see if we can see some other critters. Oh!
Turn away from just a second and they decide to move.
You see the little one? Yeah, the little one is sweet.
Very cool.
Gotta love gibbons. We've got a
Guira cuckoo right here. Look at those tail feathers.
He is right up there. See him? Beautiful. The big lovely enclosure. If I were here by myself right now, not live streaming, I would have brought binoculars. I always try to bring binoculars when I visit a zoo when I'm not live streaming, because it just gives you a much better, closer look at a lot of the animals. I don't understand why everybody here isn't walking around with binoculars, Normalize bringing binoculars to the zoo. It will improve your experience tremendously. That's what I found. I say this wishing that I had a zoom lens here, Yeah.
Alas.
Anyway, let's see if we can see some of the other birds over here.
Curacao or something in here, I think.
Or however you say that. I forget. That's the crest. Yeah, we've got a pied crow in here. Yeah. Continue. They do not have a shoebill here. They've got a relative of a shoebill called a hammerkop, but when I tried to show you that, the signal had cut out, and so I don't think we're going to be lucky enough to see it today. But, yeah. No shoebills here. We've got... And I'd love to see a shoebill. I don't think I've ever actually seen a shoebill in person. Yeah. They always just seem so cheerful. Gotta love the gibbons. And Macypa, how are you doing? Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Alright, Sun Bear Canyon. Let's see if we can spot some sun bears here today.
One of just a few species of living bear. That's your search image. That's what we're looking for here. Let's see if we can spot them. Malaysia, the Malayan archipelago. And let's see. We might be out of luck here. I'm not seeing them. But I love how big an enclosure this is, and it's cool seeing all the different enrichment objects there. Lots of different things to play with. Keep them occupied. I'm not seeing them.
If I'm not seeing them, there's a fat chance you'll be able to see them with this little camera. So we'll continue on our merry way. Yeah. And Ricky WSF, I did see the new baby hippo. It's been all over Twitter. Adorable. Hippos are really cool animals. Do you know what their closest living relative is, chat? What is the closest living relative of the hippo? Anybody tell me? Maybe not what you would expect. Evolutionary group called Whippomorpha. Whales and hippo are each other's closest living relatives, which is pretty cool. Whales are a kind of hoofed mammal, just like hippos are. A kind of artiodactyl, even-toed ungulate.
And we've got more flamingos here. These look like a different species from the ones that we saw at the San Francisco Zoo. Lesser flamingo. Well. So they're native to Africa and southwestern Asia. Huh.
And they are a little bit smaller than the greater flamingos that we saw in San Francisco.
But they are super cool.
Very neat. And, oh, I missed this. Murph said, I spent a semester studying a great curassows behavior. Learned it's quite an aggressive species. Beautiful. Yeah, curassows are really neat. I wonder if they still have that curassow here, if it's behind the scenes now, or if it's at a different zoo. But it used to be in that enclosure that we walked right by. Yeah. Anyway.
Flamingos, really cool birds.
Alright, let's see if we can take a look at some of the giraffes, maybe. Let's see if the signal holds. If it doesn't, I'll have to turn around and come right back. Cross your fingers, everybody, that the signal holds. Alright. Alright, how's our signal doing? Really good, actually. Okay. Excellent. So 7,000 kilobits per second. Cross your fingers that holds.
Chat is frozen for me right now, so
Well, let's see if we can see some tigers over here. Let's see. Not seeing him so far. Just like any kind of cat, tigers are pretty good at hiding. Pretty keen on it sometimes. Oh, there's one down there. Yeah. There we go. The world's largest living cat, tiger. Not sure if this is a Bengal or an Emmer tiger. Very cool. And they have leaping levels. There you go, Loganak. Yes, indeed. Just like the furniture you might have for your cats at home, tigers need stuff like that too. Take full advantage of their space. They love to be high up. But I think it's probably too hot up on those platforms right now. If we were here in the morning, maybe they'd be up there. Yeah. Very cool. Dan the BC Man says you need a better zoom. I don't have a zoom. This is a fisheye lens. So this is as good as it's going to get. Move on, we'll see some of the other critters. Really happy that the signal is held up here. Let's go see some giraffes. Check them out. Beautiful. Very cool. So here's a piece of trivia that many of you have heard many, many times, but I'll say it again anyway. How many vertebrae do you think a giraffe has in its neck? You know, they've got this really, really long neck, and just for frame of reference, we as human beings with our short necks have got 7 vertebrae in our neck. 7 different neck vertebrae. How many do you think a giraffe might have with its really long neck? There, I can't see chat. Got no signal for chat right now, but if you said 7, you're correct. A giraffe has the same number of vertebrae in its neck as we do. Nearly all mammals have just 7 vertebrae in their necks, which is kind of an unusual thing. Other kinds of tetrapod animal, you know, reptiles, amphibians, they can vary the number of vertebrae in their necks across different species. A giraffe has the same number of vertebrae in its neck as, say, a mole, or a gopher, or a human, or a rhinoceros. It's got 7. That seems to be the lucky number for mammal cervical vertebrae. You have any more or fewer than that, and everything else kind of breaks. It's like a fatal error in the code, basically. So giraffes have such long necks because those vertebrae elongate. And part of that is a trick of the eye, too, where they've got such long arms. Their forelimbs are longer than their hind limbs, so that kind of puts them at a slant like this, almost like a brachiosaur. And that makes their neck seem even longer than it is. Really cool adaptations for high browsing, you know?
Oh, she stopped. Once it's
And we've got our baby giraffe over here. Lovely.
Step on the ice cream.
Looks like she's sitting on a nest or something. Or a bed. She's beautiful.
Oh, look.
Very cool.
I hope everyone can see in here right now. I've got no indication that you can because the signal is just not good enough for chat right now, for me to be able to monitor chat. But looks like our signal for broadcasting is excellent. So I assume you can see or hear me right now, but I don't know. Chat hasn't moved in several minutes. Very cool. Giraffes are such cool animals. Can't get enough of them. All right, let's go see the camels as well over here. Very cool. Alright, let's go see some camels. Like we tried to do earlier.
Unfortunately, the gondolas right here are not working right now, or we'd be able to go up and see the California exhibit, see the California condor, and the bison, and the brown and black bears, and leopard and mountain lion and everything else.
But that's out of order right now, unfortunately. It's a cool ride. Okay, I can see chat now. And people are saying I broke it? Oh, and you're back. Okay, great. Good. Oh, were you referencing the gondolas? Try and be more specific, people, with what you're saying, because I don't know if you're referring to the stream, if you're referring to the gondola, what you're referring to. It's very confusing. I'm working with very limited information here, not being able to see what the, not being able to see my own broadcast here.
And the camels are elusive right now.
Looks like they've gone back behind the scenes. I said, I'll be in my trailer. Okay, camels. They can be a little bit temperamental, as you'd imagine. But camels are really cool for a paleontological reason. This is a fun fact that I always love to share whenever we see camels or talk about camels on this channel. Is that today a lot of people here in North America think of camels as being kind of an exotic group. When you think of camels, you might think of the Arabian Desert. You might think of, Mongolia with Bactrian camels, far-flung places. Camels, exotic creatures. Camels first evolved here in North America. I've found camel fossils here in the Bay Area. They're a North American original. Camels, as a group, started off here in North America. And then later they spread across the Bering Land Bridge into Asia, and then I think into Europe as well. And then they spread south across the Isthmus of Panama into South America. That's why you get llamas and alpacas, vicuñas, and guanacos. Those are all descendants of those camelids, members of the camel family that walked down across that land bridge into South America. Camels originated here. They are a North American group originally, which is super cool. Joe Wingy says, cool, I had no idea. Yeah. So there are camels in the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. Lots and lots of camels. You have ones like camelops, which is it's like 10 feet tall. Enormous animal. Bigger than any modern camels today. Yeah, they're a super cool group. Gotta love camels. Anywho, the most healthy camels are in Australia. Yeah, those are dromedary camels that have been introduced. Whoa.
Wow, look. Speaking of dromedary camels, take a look. Beautiful.
Yeah, I got him.
Alright, so we'll get to see. We'll start walking around a little bit more. We can take a look. But yeah.
Oh, camels are such cool animals.
Turn back around so we can see it.
Oh, very cool. Beautiful. So a camel's mouth is a pretty extraordinary bit of anatomy as well. They've got these like prehensile lips they can use for manipulating objects. I've heard that they could
Pick up a dime with their lips if they wanted to.
very dexterous. And then their mouths are extremely tough. So they can eat the coarsest and most thorny of desert vegetation. And their teeth are extraordinary too.
Camels have got these gigantic canine teeth. Here, maybe I can stand on this bench. Maybe a slightly better view.
Oh, there's another one investigating. Yeah.
Just supremely well adapted for living in these harsh conditions. Not just in heat. Everybody thinks of camels in hot deserts, but they do very well in the cold as well. So during the Pleistocene, during like the last glacial maximum, there were camels all over the place living in very, very cold environments too. Bactrian camels today, that's your two-humped camels, living in like the Gobi Desert of Mongolia, they can withstand like extremely low temperatures. They're very hardy, adaptable animals. And during the Pleistocene, camels that looked a lot like this lived right here in the Bay Area. Marching around doing their camel thing.
Pretty cool.
Pretty darn cool.
Awesome. Well,
with that having been said, we've seen just about everything there is to see at the zoo today, given that the gondolas are not working. Maybe if we get super lucky, big maybe, we can come back to the zoo before all of my mobile data is depleted for the month. We can go see the California exhibits as well. But I don't know. We'll have to see. It's a big maybe. But thank you everybody for being here today. Let's find somebody to raid into. And yeah, who else is live on Twitch right now? I don't know. Maybe just tell me in the chat. I can't actually look. Well, we're having connectivity issues. Let's walk toward the front of the zoo. I know I got signal there. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So, I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow. We'll see. Time is really running out for me to finish that Velociraptor puppet before TwitchCon. So I'll probably be spending all of tomorrow working on that. Like sun up to midnight. Because there's a lot of work left to be done. And then we'll see what happens on. But, yeah. I'm leaving for TwitchCon on Tuesday, and going to TwitchCon. So I'm excited about that. And let's see. Okay, I've got a list of channels I follow here. Let's go right into GeoGym 2006, shall we? Oh, no, let's right into Alveus Sanctuary. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm waiting for chat to load up. My channel, chat. Raid Alveus Sanctuary. There we go. They're having an animal keeper chat. That's going to be really cool. Thank you for putting up with all. Hey everybody, I appreciate your patience. I know it's a little bit frustrating, but thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for enjoying all of these cool animals with us. I hope you learned something today. I hope you've got a newfound appreciation for the creatures that we share our planet with and their incredible evolutionary heritage, a heritage that we share. We are part of that grand tree of life as well, and I hope today's stream has helped